Alright, in this video we are going to learn how to set up the latest version of Tailwind CSS, that is Tailwind 3, with a Ruby on Rails application. So here I have a standard Ruby on Rails blog. The first step is to install Tailwind CSS using npm. So run the following command from the root directory of your Rails application, which installs the Tailwind package. Once that's done, the second step is to initialize Tailwind. So Tailwind by default looks for a configuration file called tailwind.config.js in the root of your project. And this file contains all the customizations for Tailwind. And this command generates a Tailwind config.js file in your Rails application. npx tailwind css init. So run that command. I already have the file. So Tailwind tells me that. And when you first generate the file, the content section will be an empty array. The step 3 is where you configure the source template paths. So the content section is where you configure the paths to all of your HTML templates, JavaScript components, and any other files that contain Tailwind class names. So modify the generated configuration file to include all the HTML, JavaScript, and ERB files under the app directory. The next step is to add the Tailwind directives to the application CSS file. So Tailwind is made up of a few different pieces, such as a reset style sheet, component classes, and the utility classes, and functions that make working with Tailwind easier. So you need to add these directives to your application CSS file. Step 5 is to start the Tailwind CLI build process. So from the root directory, run this command. What this command is doing is it's running Tailwind CSS utility, and it's passing the input as the application CSS, and it's compiling that, and it's outputting the win.css in the same directory. And we are also watching for the files that for any changes, these files. And as you can see, I have the Vent CSS here. For the demo, I'll delete this file. All right, and you can see once I run this command, Tailwind compiles the CSS and it created the file again, and it contains all the Tailwind classes. If you add any custom CSS, that will get added here as well. And the final step is to add this CSS to your HTML file, which is the application.html ERB template. So in here, you can see I've added the style sheet that was generated by running the Tailwind command here. And that's pretty much it. You have now set up Tailwind in your Ruby on Rails application. To see that it's working, let's start our blog. And let's go to the home page, and I'll make a few changes in the Tailwind classes. So let's make the background gray. And you can see our changes are in effect. That means Tailwind is set up. And that's how you set up Tailwind in your existing Ruby on Rails application. Hope that helped. Thanks for watching.